All right, welcome to Teachers Q&A and kind of more part two about how to really use the program and some extra tools and techniques. And Kara's going to take it away. Thanks for being on with us live, Amanda.
Sure. Okay, hi everybody. I'm looking at the Discover's history class. I just pulled this up because she has done a great job laying this out and setting it up exactly the way the assignments postings were instructed. And so I just was going to click on here. So for week 1, she has the topic that she selected and created was week 1, and then the assignment was from Thursday, day 4, and just basically a recap of what they did in class. And one of the students even went in and turned in, said, yep, I remember what we did in class, or I was in class, and turned it in. And I'll show you. And so you can click on turned in there and see who's turned in their work. So Luke turned it in, and basically acknowledging that he saw the assignment and was in class that day or did the work that was assigned for the day. So I'm going to go back. So each of these weeks, so she's posted for next week too. And you can see day 1 is what they're going to do in class would be done on Monday. And here's what she asked the students to do for Monday was to make sure that they have their 2 binders for history and all of the materials that they need for Scrapbook of Sites in class. And again, one of the students has gone on here and turned that in already and said, yep, I've got my binders. I'm ready for class on Tuesday. Then on Tuesday, this is 2.2. So that's going to be in class with the students already there. And she's saying, this is what we're going to do in class on Tuesday. We're going to set up the rest of our binders and finish stop number 1. So very clearly, the students can see what work is done each day of the week and what they need to do that day. And then on Thursday, the students can expect that this is what's going to happen in class. Or Wednesday, sorry, this is what they're going to read at home. Sorry about that. I keep getting mixed up on days of the week. But Wednesday 2.3, posted September 12th. This is going to be done and due on September 20th, which would be Wednesday. Or Thursday, due Thursday, assigned for Wednesday. Correct?
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. And then Thursday, this is what they will do in class again. And I actually really like, she puts no due dates on her classwork. So the stuff that's done in class, there's not a due date on there, which was perfect because if a student is not in class that day, then obviously their work's going to be late, anyway, because they weren't there. So they're going to need more time. So this would allow them to arrange with the teacher a special due date and not have it due necessarily the day of class if they missed it for some reason. And it'll also show on the student site, because there's no due date, it's not going to post as late work if they don't turn it in. So that makes it nice for the students not to have a bunch of reminders like, oh, you didn't turn in your, assignment from Thursday when we were in class, which was basically just a lecture. So there was nothing to be turned in. So this helps the students. If there's nothing that they need to turn in from class on Thursday, after Thursday, then having no due date is a good thing.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
If you don't put a due date, does it not show up on their calendar as something that needs to be done? Do they get any kind of reminder about it?
They will still get a reminder. In fact, I'll go over to the calendar view and you'll be able to see for next week. See, this is cool. This is what their calendar will look like. So this is next week. So Thursday for them was this Renaissance Italy and Italian city-state. So it still shows up on their calendar even though there was no due date on that.
Okay.
That was a good question, Amanda. And so, Kara, so this is what the calendar will look like.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Guardian email will show only the things with due dates also, right? So like the Guardian email.
The Guardian email is kind of a review, and I don't know exactly all the different things that it's going to show necessarily, but it will show for sure if they're missing assignments. Mm-hmm. So if there's no due date, then there wouldn't be a missing assignment.
Which is fine because it's an in-class thing, right? So that makes total sense to do those no due dates. But on the other days when something, even if they do it on Wednesday and it's due on the Thursday, the great thing is that the parents, so as a teacher, it's a big reason to use those due dates on the days that you do want to do versus it's so great not to for the class, but because this is what's going to cut down a lot on communication from teacher to parent.
Right.
Because it will automatically happen for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So any assignment that you post will show on the calendar, but the due dates are going to be if it's late. So if you post and say, I want this turned in on the 20th, and the student doesn't turn it in on the 20th, that's what's going to get a reminder to the parents, like, oh, there was a late assignment that they didn't turn in, that they were supposed to do.
So none of my assignments are like, they really have to turn in. They're basically preparing for the discussion we're going to have next week. And it's in their journal versus online. So should I just not have due dates then? Because there's really not anything.
But you're wanting them to have that done for class on Tuesday, correct?
I want them to be prepared so when we have the discussion, I'm not having to pull it out of a discussion, can be lively and quick and we can move on.
Right. So you'll want to put that as due date on the Tuesday. So, so if it's, if they're supposed to do it at home on Monday, the due date would be on Tuesday.
Okay.
They know to bring that in. And then a couple added things for all the teachers, please. So about half of our students are with Tech Prep or Learning Overture. And what that means is that the parents need to show that the kids are hitting these learning goals. And so we've wanted to structure ourselves in a way that we made that as easy as possible. So that's why Janice is in the classrooms. She's the Tech Prep person with 22 students. So she's gonna be able to see the assignments and know, like, oh, this meets this learning goal for the 8-9-year-olds. This meets this learning goal for. And so as you post your assignments, we're asking you to, keep them brief. We don't want it to be a ton of work, but if you can put a little bit about, I was just talking with Alec yesterday, if they're reading chapter 3, what are the main concepts? 4 or 5 words about what the, covering XXXXX. So, and in the same way, if it's writing, maybe it's with Winston Grammar, maybe it's specifically working on adjectives or whatever the case might be. So it doesn't need to be a lot, but in the information portion, just a little bit of an overview of what that assignment's covering. And then,
and make sure that that's in the information, not in the main assignment heading.
Kara, could you bring that back up for us? And could you also explain kind of a reminder when you were talking about if there are multiple things that they're putting that they're not on multiple days and what that would look like?
Yes. So I'm trying to think of, I might have to switch to another classroom. You know what? I will stop my share and go to or actually I don't have to stop share. I think it'll allow me to go to a new place. I pulled up one of my classes that I taught last year. I'm wondering if I can get to that for you. This was my high school chemistry class that I taught. And so this, here's an example of, I'm trying to find kind of an example. This one right here is an example of an assignment that obviously I had students in my class that turned it in, and I had students in my class that didn't turn it in. This was just an online class, so it was very different. But you can see that I did chemistry week. This is how we labeled ours, but it was week 28, day 3. And then I had them read these pages and do the on your own questions for these right here for 16.3 and 16.7. And then when my students turned them in, they actually uploaded the pictures because I didn't have a physical class. So I was just kind of helping them online. And I did have a class just for lab, but not for anything else. And so you can see my students actually uploaded what they drew and their pictures for me, and I was able to see them from there, which was really, really nice. But so that's multiple things I wanted them to do in one assignment, instead of having various things that would be, I wouldn't read these pages in one assignment and then do the questions in another assignment.
Right. There's only one week 28, day 3. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And on the instructions, so could you go to the instructions tab?
This one I didn't have any instructions in because we had been there, this was obviously week 28. So we had been in this classroom for a really long time. Let me go back and see if I can find one that had a bunch of instructions in it. Maybe
because in the instructions tab is where we'd like it to say, Winston Grant, maybe because English, of course, it has multiple different books because they'll be doing some with IEW and some with NaNoWriMo and some with Winston Grammar. So in that case, for instance,
here's a language arts one, like you said, that has all those things in it. Okay, so this one, as you can see, this is even a long post for a language, an introduction, a heading. But so she has multiple things in here. Spend 20 minutes on writing today. You can write. So this, you can write a fun story or journal should have been down in the instructions, but it wasn't. Does that make sense? And then this is book, MCT, Practice Island, Complete Sentence 79, spelling, sight words, IEW vocabulary. Those were all things she wanted them to do that day. And then she put all the spelling words down below and all the sight words down below that they were working on for that week. This was also a cool post because she attached all this stuff for them. So there was stems in here that they were going to be studying. There was the link to Quizlet for flashcards that the teacher had created, and then the resource page from the IAW book and some challenging words. So she actually attached a lot of other things to her classroom so the kids didn't have to go look for them.
And how would you attach that, Kara? Can you show us?
Yes. And I'm going to go back to your classroom to do this because I've realized that if you look at my classroom, it's different. Do you see that at the top?
Version.
Stream, yeah, I think we just have an older version of it. So I'm going to go back to your classroom to show you how to attach stuff. So, oh, yes, I am in as you. So if I were going to attach something to this assignment, let's see.
Those little 3 arrows, maybe?
Yeah, I'm wondering, because it's already, oh yeah, I have to edit the assignment. I was trying to figure out, I don't want to mess up her pages here, but
yeah,
because I don't want to create a new one. Okay, so if I want to attach something, all these buttons across the bottom allow me to attach anything I want. This is coming from my computer directly. This would be from my Drive. This would be from YouTube, and this would be a link from the internet. So you can attach things in any of these ways. And you can just, once you click on it, it'll pull it up from the Drive, and if you've saved it in your Drive, or if you want to find a video on YouTube, you can actually go to here and it'll search YouTube URLs for you.
Great. And so in those instructions, that's where we put the little bit more information about
Yes.
what's being covered. One, that really is helpful for the parents as well. I feel like it helps them to understand, you know, what their student is covering. And two, it'll be really helpful as half of our families are doing the tech trap kind of thing.
Yeah, and if you look on this one, this would probably be enough
Yes.
for her as the tech trap teacher.
Absolutely.
Because it's got all the stems they're covering on there, it's got the challenging words they're looking at, it's got their sight words and their spelling words. It's all right there for them. So that really does give them enough information for the tech trap teacher. And
Absolutely.
you know, science, this one might be a little different. I was just going to click over to kind of see, like this probably wouldn't be enough for the tech trap teacher because it doesn't tell her anything about what we're doing in class. You know,
yeah, and so it doesn't need to be a lot, but like read pages 151 through 153, and even into just if it was down the instructions, you know, you'll be reading about
such and such today.
Science term.
Right.
Not my area.
Okay. So that's kind of the overview. This one is done so well. We want to get away from like chapters or headings that are other than week 1, week 2, just because this is also going to be super helpful for the tech trap teacher. Like if she has to go find which chapter you're working in which week by looking at the due dates, that's going to be really hard to do. Whereas if she can look at, you know, the week 3, she knows you're in week 1 or week 2 or week 3, and she can easily, for every class, it'll be so much easier for her to say, this week I'm looking at all week 2 posts for all the classes. So I know what the kids are doing.
And easy for people to come on later to catch up, and people,
Yes.
my family is going to be on vacation all of next week. So for us, like being able to access this and see what was done in class and do at home is what will allow us to, without having to ask all the teachers for a lesson plan, you know, we can just keep up. So.
Yes, exactly. I don't know if it's something you guys have ever considered, but we also had students that just participated online. Like the teachers would just post their assignments and students would just participate online and didn't actually come to classes. So that's just an idea. If you guys ever want to do that, teachers, it might, you know, you might have to do maybe a little bit more grading or editing online, but we did have students that participated just online with us from far distances.
Cool. Kara, could you real quick tell me about the point grading part, and then let's go look at the student side.
Okay. Do you want me to, I'll do the point grading from this side first.
Perfect. And we actually have 3 minutes till the parent one. So we will maybe quickly do this and show Kara's, or show your daughter's thing. And then,
Yep. Okay. So she has ungraded in here right now. And let's see. I'm going to see if I can find one that is graded. Do you want,
Just tell them how the grading portion works. We're not doing a ton of grading, but should you want, like for Alex's science portion, you know, they are going to take quizzes, and so you can have those weighted and graded. And so just wanted you to know that's an option out there.
Yes. I'm switched back over to my classroom just so you could see actually, I guess I don't need to go on to Nikaya's because I have students in here. Yes, I do. This is because this is old. But the point system, you pick what you want your point system to be for your classroom. So if you decide that you want it to be 10 points if it's turned in and 0 if it's not turned in, and you're not going to look at the actual assignment, that's great. If you don't want any points at all, just hit ungraded, and that's great too. And you get to choose up here at the top. You can either ungraded or you can put in points when you're creating the assignment.
Great.
Does that answer your question?
Yep. That's
okay. Perfect. All right, I'm going to get out of here and see about going to Nikaya's classroom, which of course I don't have on my screen. So let me see if I can log in as her.
Isn't it right there, Nikaya Garnet Prep?
Yeah, right down there.
Oh, yes, it is. Okay, I thought I had her up, but sorry.
No, you're good.
I have too many icons.
Yeah.
Apparently. All right, let's see if it'll let me pull this one up for you guys. Okay, so here's her classroom, and which I just totally lost track of what I was going to show you on here.
The drive and how they get attached.
Oh, yes. Okay, so if she's in her classwork, and say she wanted to do this. This one's done great too. So she's going to view the assignment and add or create. So if she wants to create a doc, slides, sheets, drawings, whatever it might be, she can just click on docs and it's going to create a doc and it's going to add it to her thing, and that goes directly into her drive, and she will literally be able to add to, turn it in, whatever she wants to do right here from her classroom. I'm gonna have to delete this for her later, but she can then click on it and it'll take her to her drive and to a blank document, and she can create whatever she's doing right there. So she doesn't even ever have to leave her assignment page to do that.
And the great thing is, at the same time, they can go to their drive and see all their documents at once, which can just be really helpful as they even work in other classes and move on.
Yes, and this says, I understand, basically editors can see or view your history, so her teachers can see her work, basically. If she, if she's going to use it, I'm bringing that down so I can click out of it, and it'll take me back to here, and I'm just going to delete it because she doesn't want that there. This is the other way to do it, is to create it, anywhere. She can create just a Word document and attach it there. She can create a link, attach it there, or she can take it from her Google Drive. The create is really nice just because it just puts it right in here for her instead of having to create it somewhere else. But if they do create it somewhere else, they can just add it later. So
That's
either
awesome.
One works.
So we have the parent one, Kara.
Okay.
Are there any last little things that you want to finish?
Nope, I don't think so. From the teacher's end, you guys can edit these docs. Once she turns it in, you can edit them. You can make comments and stuff on their work afterwards. So just
did you that's awesome, Karen. Did you have anything else? We have our parent one that started a minute ago, so we better hop off. But was there anything else in specific that you wondered about, Amanda? Thank you so much for being on. Thank you. It's been such a great tool for all of us. So we will send this recording out and we'll go talk to the parents. Bye.
Bye.